What's going on? We're back with the Redcat Fusion, and we're gonna get our second upgrade ready. We got the tires ready yesterday, the old J Concepts megalithics. They look good. Trail wheels, 12 hole, and then our Amazon insert showed up, so we're gonna try these. We might have to cut a couple ribs out to make them softer, but we're gonna try them as is first. Anyways, our next little batch of upgrades is gonna be shocks. We got Traxxas big bores with the beef tube little shock mount or spring mounts. These are the two 662s. They're like 95 millimeter. We're actually going to build these and put them on the VRD. Because these have the 88, 90 millimeter versions. And I think those would be better on the Fusion, so we'll run these on here. We'll get these built and then we'll swap these over. So these are my preferred shocks for crawling. The TRX 104s do good too in the same setup from Dixieland, but this is a little easier to do. Technically, you can use the stock little cups, retainers, just like this, and it'll work just fine with the losi T-springs. They fit in there. I like to get these little beef tube things because they slide right over, and they're a little cleaner. You can get them in brass. They weigh a little more too. And then you just get these shock caps, because they give you a little bit better articulation up at the top versus the little plastic things they give you. I'll put a part number down. And then of course the old trusty 40 weight's what I'll probably start with. So yeah, we're going to build some shocks, and I'll probably put that on a little time lapse or something, and I'll be back. Alright, we're on the last one. Figured I'd click in here and just record a full one. Time lapse are always boring, so I didn't even try that. So we'll do this last one. I'll try to remind you what I need to remind you, and we'll get going. I'll let this 9 wear in. Come on. Alright, so you got the old caps off. Don't forget, you gotta get your little bladder out, because when you buy these new ones, they don't come with the bladder. But the new shocks did, if that makes sense. And then I usually put these little blue O-rings. I'm not sure exactly where I even get them. I think they're out of maybe the rebuild kits. But I usually put those as like a little limiter. Let me see if I got one done. So first things, we're gonna crack off the rod end. Just like that. If you ain't got one of these tools, they just make it so much easier. I'm going to throw your spring on these big bores. They fit perfect on there. Like I said, if you don't care, the stock little retainers work with the losi springs. Anyways, throw a spring on there. Throw my little blue washer on there. I don't know if you can see that or not. And then the beef tubes, little retainer, and then put the rod back on, rod end back on. These are going to be the rears on the VRD. We got Deluxe, the spring assortment. These are the softs. I'll probably run the same on the Fusion with a ultra soft in the front and a soft in the rear. Sorry, little girl's going to start yelling at us. She thinks she needs to eat 3 times a day. Anyways, looks like something like that. They look really good with these beef tubes. So then, obviously, next we're going to fill it up. I fill this thing all the way to the top. We're just going to squeeze out what we're not using anyway. So, like I said, I'm using a 40 weight. It seems to be a perfect middle number. It ain't the exact for everything, but it works pretty much for everything and will get you by. For me, I just leave it because it hasn't not worked good for anything. Oh, Marley's going crazy out there. Anyways, fill this up with 40 weight. Let that set for a minute. Tap out a little bit of the air. Usually work it once or twice. It's going to be messy, so have your towel by. Try not to let it suck down too fast because you'll just be making more bubbles. Technically, it's all just a big air bubble anyways. So try not to overthink it. These are definitely my favorite shocks to do. They're too easy. I can spend double the time trying to get those TRX4 shocks to be like this, but overall, still, definitely put Traxxas shocks on everything. They leak the least amount, they last the longest. Alright, so we got it worked. We're going to throw this bladder on the top, let that set for 1 more minute. I'll show this, but I doubt you can see it. You know how it goes. Get that all seated down there. Now, I don't know if this is the right way, the wrong way, what way. This is just how I do it for my crawlers. I like to have it all together with the spring and everything because it just makes it a little easier. You can't really, push the rod out. If you have your rod in and everything off, there's a chance you can, it's a little slippery. There's a chance you can push your piston out, and you don't want that. So I just leave them together so we don't have that risk. Push that in all the way, and I just screw this cap on. Let it kind of bleed as it goes. Keep the rod pushed in all the way. You'll see the bubbles popping out of there. Get her tight. And that's that. Get all your oil off. I usually hit these with simple green when I'm done to get all the oil off, to try to keep a little of the dust off for the first round. And it looks about right. So like I said, we built these ones for the VRD because we're putting the ones we already did on the VRD onto the other truck, because these are a little bit longer, and I have more things to play with to change the height. So, but that's about what it looks like. This is what the ones for the Fusion is going to look like. Like I said, the exact same thing. These are about 90 millimeter with the stock things. I'll end up ordering some beef tubes for these also. I had to steal the rod ends, or the balls, as they're a little different. You might have to, but that's to each vehicle. So I'll probably click back in here with another little clip once I get this VRD back on, just kind of show you what they look like and what I look for when I'm done on the vehicle. Because I'm kind of going for the same thing every time, every vehicle, if it's crawling anyway. So we'll get back. Alright, I got this VRD thrown back together for now. So I'm going to throw it on the table. And I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about when I say what I'm looking for. Throw these legs down a little bit. Let's see if this shows up or not. This is my favorite part of building shocks, is you got to get that settle, just where it kind of slow motion falls. Like I said, we might be a little high on this one. We're going to see. I'll either run an internal restrictor or just put some hair ties on it. But we're going to try it like this. They're only 5 more millimeters longer than they were. But 5 millimeters is 5 millimeters, so... yeah, I always like the way these just kind of drop down. This is the way I feel I got it right or wrong. So we'll probably get these thrown on the Fusion. It's just a lot more of a process, and we'll try to get that on camera, since there's other videos out there. So we'll see what happens. I'll catch back with you. Alright, I think we about got her licked. So in the rear, I had some little shock relocation brackets. I'll have to remember what brand, and I'll try to post a link for them. But that way we can get that angle way more out here. Can run a stiffer spring, but I think it might still be a little stiff. That's a medium. I got some more softs coming. They should be here this week, so we'll try this out and see what it is. And honestly, I think the front might be a little too soft, but I like it pretty dripped. So we'll, like I said, we'll test it, do some test and tune, and adjust accordingly. Also in the back, I ended up going to like the lower link mount instead of on top of the axle, and then bolted it all the way through. Put a little spacer in there so it didn't pinch it. And I think it might be a little lower now. The front's mounted opposite, so not upside down per se. We got a little bit more articulation. We went all the way on the back hole. So throw the body on here real quick. And this is about what she looks like now. Got that nice slow droop in the front. Slow reaction in the back. Just when it reacts slow, it makes it more predictable out on the rock. You can kind of tell, you know, instead of it just slamming around. I will say, it does look like we got some more articulation to it. Oh yeah. So we'll have to try that out. See if that's good or bad. Like I said, I'm just kind of experimenting here, and we'll see what it does. Peace out.